There you
Now
go.
you're telling me.
Missed the good stuff. Yeah.
We'll call this meeting to order. Everybody had a chance to review the agenda.
Yes.
Any conflicts of interest with the agenda? Hearing none, we'll proceed with the reading of the minutes.
December 13, 2022, the Board of Supervisors met at 9 a.m. with Cal Schultz, Chairman presiding. Members present were Rosberg, Skoog, Hayden, and Schultz. Members absent or vote. Minutes of the previous meeting read and approved. On motion, the board recognized claims for public health and approved claims for all other departments. Board approved the clerk of court fees for November 2022. A motion was made by Rosberg, seconded by Hayden to approve the purchase of semi-tractor from Housby Mac for $150,250 for delivery fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024. Motion passed unanimously. A motion was made by Rosberg, seconded by Hayden to approve the purchase of Trail King bottom dump trailer from Ziegler for $70,875 for delivery fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024. Motion passed unanimously. A motion was made by Rosberg, seconded by Hayden to approve funding up to $20,000 to fund the cost of consulting fees related to the submission of a state rise grant to include the Donna Reed Road Bridge over the UPRR. Motion passed unanimously. During citizen input, there were citizens here to express their concerns about the pipeline and possible ordinances and mitigation. At 10:19, a motion was made by Hayden, seconded by Rosberg to open the closed session pursuant to Iowa Code 21.5 subsection 1 subsection C in regards to the hazardous liquid pipeline ordinance. Motion passed unanimously. 11:31, a motion was made by Hayden, seconded by Rosberg to close the closed session. Motion passed unanimously. On motion, duly seconded, the board adjourned 11:32 a.m. Agendas for the next meeting are posted and available at the courthouse on Friday, 4:30 p.m. preceding the next meeting. The board took a tour of the Manila shop following the meeting.
Yeah, we did all that last week.
You're amazing.
Oh,
Holy
just
cow.
last week?
That was just Tuesday.
Seems like.
Holy. All right. Okay, thank you. All right. Take a moment. Let's see, we got our appointments list in our packet. With the absence of Skoog and Vote, next year we'll have some holes to fill in, some gaps to fill in. Or these to the new incoming supervisors.
Oh, thank you. You're the best.
These are all the committees and such that we sit on, that other than just being here, Craig. This is where the,
Thought it was just
didn't know-
Tuesday morning.
this, yeah, this is where the, I didn't know we did the other stuff much more than we bargained for. And I'm guessing these are all the appointments that we're gonna have to do that are just breezing through these quick. These are all highlighted. These are all the vacancies that we'll have. Like the Conservation Board, Rachel's, her term expires this year. so-
Right, and
Yeah.
she's applied for reappointment.
Is that?
How often do all the boards meet?
Once
They
a month,
vary.
most
It
of
varies.
Pass these around.
Some are less frequent,
Sometimes
Right.
once a month.
Quarterly.
There's enough copies for everybody here.
3 times.
Appointments.
See what pay for that?
From January 1st.
Don't know
probably.
for sure. though.
And what's the supervisor role on each board? Are they just a
It
member?
varies.
Some are voting members, some are
I
just
go to-
liaisons.
I used to go to Sioux City 4 times a year for the 3rd judicial district, and I'm representing the supervisors from here. They have one from each county that they service. It's a paid trip. They
You want, I mean,
got they
you guys
pay
can
you
still
for
look at
driving
them
out
and
the
make
back.
sure that if there's
Oh,
something
okay.
somebody you see that's due up or whatever, and maybe you know somebody that would be willing to fill them spots. Would be greatly appreciated.
Right.
What's that? Oh, no, they-
Well, and the three existing incumbent supervisors, you may have a committee you may want to.
Right, yeah, if you guys see a
Until
committee that you
something
want to get
else,
off of,
whatever.
and,
So,
so if we could take a chance, opportunity to look them over. And maybe by next week, we'll have a good idea of where we're at. So come January 1st, we will be able to hammer that out.
right, well, and the form can kind of be completed before that first meeting. And if it needs tweaking on the third, that's fine too,
Okay,
is what it is.
well, seems like we never, our best efforts go by the wayside sometimes, so.
Well, like last year, we found a better fit for Ty and I, and we just kind of
Yep.
changed that a little bit because it was hard that day. But for me, I don't mind any of them better.
When you don't have to.
No,
I mean, I will though, if somebody's like,
I want to change out a couple.
Question.
yes,
Dave is on, he's one of the farmers on the
Oh.
assessment damage assess.
We gotta switch that out then, huh?
Yeah.
Can he remain on there?
I don't know.
was he on it before when he was a supervisor? Probably.
Were you?
What are you talking about?
you're on the commission to assess damages under the farmer side of it. We're just curious. if-
on it as a supervisor.
Okay,
I don't-
that was the question.
It would probably be, could pose a conflict of interest, but,
See, I really don't like things you can't afford.
so,
It goes so hand in hand with mental health and childhood.
so Craig and Dave, I guess obviously on the board commitment appointments, anything that has student or voter, obviously gonna be
Because that's-
needed to be filled, and there can be some jockeying amongst them once we get that all full, so.
Are you guys pretty comfortable with the board you're sitting on, like, saying you guys want to give up or not?
Well, I don't know.
Don't
I'm
ask
gonna
Gene.
do a little bit of adjusting, but not much. I'm gonna do EMA.
Not giving up, because we're just making headway,
Yeah,
not starting over.
That's you.
well, let's just go
Well, that's
through
a
it
good
quick
thing.
already. Ty said he wants to take Eric's spot on the EMA board.
Mhm.
That would, let's put his name down for that. Which one were you gonna maybe?
I could, I hadn't looked about.
Are we doing this right now then?
Yeah, well,
Do you have an
Ty,
extra copy?
Ty's been kind of working as an assistant to,
You have an extra copy?
in the packet. And
Is there an extra copy in the
yes, there
packet?
is. Okay.
There's two things where I'm dead in the middle of some heavy stuff. I mean, with EMA, we're working on maybe rewriting how all that functions. So, and then the same thing with CDC, we're working on the new director, so I'm gonna stay on that. And then that bargaining unit, you and I are already kind of doing that.
Yeah, if you guys want to hop on that, go right ahead.
Yeah, oh, come on, we don't want to hurt your feelings.
Don't bother me any, I'll jump on bargaining unit. I would like, if there's any choice, I would ask to do Region 12 Council governance.
Well, I think that'd be fitting, being your grandpa's pictures on the wall over there. So,
We're just with the 15 million they got coming in for local lockers and,
Oh,
in agriculture and just being on that side of the county. If nobody has a problem with that.
No,
I agree.
see that pack, I'm gonna grab it. There's another copy of these in there somewhere. Yeah.
So we'll put Dave.
I'm your alternate on 911. I think we keep that.
Yep.
Gene, obviously you'll step up into the lead role on public health.
I will.
Did you have a preference on who you'd like to maybe back you up on that, or?
Volunteers are being accepted.
Well, I'll help you if you need me to, but unless somebody else wants to be in it.
Okay. Sounds good.
Seems like it's a fight every week, so if you got somebody that's all right at being crabby, I'll do that.
So you're alternate Board of Health.
Yeah, I'll do that for
So
you.
Dave's doing bargaining.
Yeah, Dave, and you aren't gonna then, Cal?
Oh, well,
I'm not.
I had myself and Scoot for some reason.
Well, that's who
I
used to be
had.
it,
Yeah,
Yeah,
but you and I have been doing it.
whatever works.
You guys can keep doing that.
I went through a round of negotiations with all the unions, so
Craig, would you like to do
it's
Westco?
fun. It's fun.
Sure.
Oh,
That's
I'm
right here in
sure.
Dennison, and it's
I've been helping you. So I know
plans.
that's
It's a good one. I would gladly do it, but that would be a good one for you, I think.
You've got quite a few though, Cal, if you wanted to
Well, that's
give up
all
one
right.
or two. I mean, that way you aren't overtaxed.
So,
I'll stay on
Maybe-
Central Iowa. I kind of like that one. That's a good networking board or
I've
commission.
been I'm on the youth.
Yes,
Yes, center, I'm on their advisory.
County Farm is currently Schultz and Skoog.
Yeah,
I'd be happy to take Scoots.
okay,
Craig, put you
Yep.
in there. I guess I should
County
use your
Farm.
last name. I do.
perfect. We'll get you on the, make sure, well, because then we gotta get that signature papered for them, so we can sign papers. You're close enough to town, Erica can call you and say, hey, these papers need signed. And that- It's not it's relatively,
So who's gonna bargain? Dave?
Well, I don't care if you want to do it, Ty, I don't. or
well, both of
Kyle
you do
wants
it
to
then. Well, you
You want me
both
and
do
Ty to
it
do
then. Yeah,
Sure.
Fine with that.
Kyle's got plenty. You look down here.
We'll be in for a war. I'll just let you in on. that.
So we're gonna put Dave and.
Mobile and Rosberg. on
all
there.
right, I'm doing mine with a pencil, because
Oh,
Watch
look
it.
at you go.
You should watch it. You should clean off part of yours.
I'd,
because you're
I'd
gonna
give
be
up
chairman.
childhood,
Yeah.
early childhood.
I would too.
I'll take that.
All right.
That goes with DCAT too then.
You want DCAT?
Well, they're
Well,
usually
which one?
together.
No, he's talking about,
The Imagination Station,
yeah,
Imagination
Imagination
Station.
Station.
you're
Yeah.
gonna keep early childhood in DCAT?
Well,
If you don't want to, I'll take them.
they're very short meetings. They've been Zoom since I've been
Not
doing
everybody
it.
going anymore.
Huh?
You know, you
I always
go.
It's
wanted
still
to be on
there,
Hungry
but,
Canyons.
It just, in the last couple of months, has Annette gone over to Otabote, otherwise
What
she's
would I
been
give up?
zooming from her home. She no longer even has an office, she just works
There
from
you go.
home.
Well, you gave up
So-
one already.
Yeah,
I've been the chairperson of that, so.
I'd do Hungry
Mind it,
Canyons
but-
too. I'd like to do that.
you would?
Are we still the administrator? Who's the administrator?
Well,
Of
we
what?
gotta make sure these gentlemen in the
Region
back
12.
have some.
Yeah, I mean, I was
committees,
just
so-
looking at, well, Gene and I gave up this
Rick,
one,
I'm sure.
2080.
Well, yeah, I'm just, I think
Or.
they moved that. You-
And the
the
Ellerberg
administration's
agent,
doing that.
Ellerbridge.
Region
is
12 is
open.
doing the administration for DCAT.
Yes.
We're
that's
still
correct.
doing it.
We
Oh,
have
yeah.
Oh,
to
for
do-
DCAT. I thought you said,
because we
yeah.
usually
I'll give up the
do a
IT
performance
committee.
review For Molly Scott. with-
Somebody wants to listen to,
Rosberg and
The le-
vote,
the
the
leverage.
IT committee.
yeah,
I would have.
unless you'll miss me.
I would
Madam
have
Auditor.
stress with that.
You got another one? I will see
She
with that.
seems good.
I figured as much.
Of course.
Well, give that some consideration through next week and talk amongst yourselves or something, but let's try to get that hammered out before
I mean, there's,
Yeah,
sort of-
before the 3rd.
the 3rd of January. So
And
we got
Wesco's a
next
big-
week.
that's kind of a big chore, isn't it, Wesco?
Craig said he would do
Craig said
that.
he'd do it, so.
I'm
Yeah, I'm
on
gonna say
the,
that
I'm
one
on
will
the
be a-
board there now.
That's a full one. That's a good one.
It's a good one.
Who's doing Plains area? I mean, you're doing it now, Jerry, but.
They have never reached out to me.
Oh.
That and Elderbridge, either one, I've reached out to them and said, hey, if there's anything, and
Nice to have a committee like that.
yeah, that's.
I don't have any of those.
I don't-
Easy stuff going on.
Back to the daycare, the Imagination Station, that's when Eric, remember, we used to always go down to your restaurant, and that's a pretty.
Yeah, it was
They have
always kind
that,
of cute.
they have
because
that up
it's
at the,
That one
Charlie
is
May-
Mays
school.
on
Imagination
Tuesdays at
Station.
noon. And a lot of
Meeting
times
in the
we're still in
lounge.
here, so we'll leave and drive up there, and by the time we get there, it's over.
Is that school?
It's at the school. That's 4 or 5 minutes.
So I think, Eric, didn't we get it done in like 3 minutes?
Yeah, it was
2
3.
minutes, right?
Yeah, so that one just is, they need that vote to approve the, budget. And
Are you doing that one, Dave?
Dave wants to.
Sure. Where's that one even at?
Crawford County Early Childhood 28E
Yeah.
Government Board.
It's all paid for now, so we're not collecting.
There's
anything.
2 people gotta be on that.
Wanna do that one with you, Craig?
Yeah.
All right, 2 newbies.
I did tell Eric and Jerry, I don't know if you other three, you clear. With ISAC, the executive board met last week.
Oh, yeah, you're reelected president
I'm
again?
not district three president anymore.
Oh, you're not?
He's
No,
number
because
3.
Be a great thing to do.
Carl's turn wasn't up yet,
Okay.
but Tim Neal came off the ISAC executive board itself, so the executive board appointed me to the executive board. So I'm not district three, I'm on the executive board for ISAC.
Oh, way to go.
Way to go.
Right back into the fire.
Thank you.
Sharp, Craig, those aren't.
So EMA is gonna be,
Any idea who the vice chair is gonna be?
Next year.
Yep.
This is of this board,
Yeah,
of this board?
of this board.
Really? I think
Aren't you gonna?
Ty.
so chair will be Ty and Jean will be vice chair.
If Plains area in Eldridge has not ever reached out to you, we can just strike them off the list.
Well, they get money from us though,
Yeah.
and they come and do a presentation, so we give them money.
And yet we don't put a name on a list that we never talked to anybody.
No, they never, I emailed them and to the contact information I had and said. hey,
Well, we
there's
I
either-
didn't
something
have
going on.
anything more than I took
Think
off,
twice about, I mean, I think no one
other than
help
EMA.
them out, but
Give them like $4,000.
I know it's not a lot.
No, I got more in here.
It is kind of one of
That's
those that
exactly
maybe
what
we
I mean.
need to figure out what our role and our mission is on.
I should've
We're not doing
I should've-
anything.
I
with
should've
them,
gave you one
we're
to
not
begin
money.
with.
What good is to have a name
I
on
should have
it?
gave you one to begin
Maybe
with.
that doesn't do-
We're down to the
No
last
value.
one. If we need more, we need to go make copies.
Okay.
No value.
So. Martin.
The only thing I would say is the fair board has failed to reach out to me for a long time, so maybe a new voice or face on there would be welcome to them. I mean, it's never been bad between us, it just they got in the position of
Do we have a vote on that one?
having a,
No,
no, we're just a representative.
Just to leave.
They got in a position where they move the meetings around to fit their schedules better and it seemed like the supervisor was always left out. And if I didn't call Broderson or somebody to try to find out when the meeting was, they would never get hold of me. So,
You don't have the
I mean, I'll stick on it. If somebody else, I sometimes think maybe a
Western Iowa,
new voice, new face would be fine with it.
Western Iowa deal.
Either one of you want to do it? If you don't, I will, but go ahead.
Fair board.
You two, one of you two pick first.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Kyle, I'll take it.
All right.
Maybe Leonard can give me a ride with him.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Fair board. Schultz.
Which I gave that up. Did somebody claim Hungry Canyons already?
Ty
I
did.
tried to.
Okay.
You did. It's in pen.
It's in pen.
Mine are all still in pencil.
I'll continue solid waste. Dave's got region 12. That's good.
There's a Region 8 Workforce Development and a third judicial
Yeah.
and West Central Community Action.
That's the lucky one. That's the best.
Which one?
Oh, I've been on that one.
And
I've
then
been on West Central Community
West
Action.
Central, I love you on West
It's
Central.
once a month, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Jerry?
once a
Down
month.
down in
And it's-
Harlan.
It's usually 6 to 8 meetings a year, and lately they've been Zoom, but you can go down now if you want, but it's a lot of information. They're a fun group to be with.
Has it gotten better since they were double feeding their kids?
Huh? Yeah. Wendy does an excellent job.
Central.
So who did you put on Elder Bridge?
Somebody's got to reach out and find out what the role would be.
Maybe when they come to ask for money, we should ask them that.
Yeah, why there's no
Because I
communication.
think that's when I got the card from them, so
Who's that?
Elder Bridge. That, when they were wanting money, I'm like, well, reach out to me if, you know, if you have
Yeah.
anything
liaison
going on,
to
I'd be interested, I, you know, I
Is that a
was really
voting board?
interested in that.
Yeah,
We need to
they've
find
got-
out if they have
by
a
state
board when it
statute,
meets
the
in Wyoming
board is
County.
appointed
Kind of bad
by
though,
us.
Jerry.
But we
you
don't
reached
appoint
out and they
ourselves
don't
to it.
respond back, but yet
I
they
don't
want
know if
money.
we
Yeah.
can. I don't,
How about with public health?
yeah,
And
health
they do
you
a
can.
great
I
service.
know they do a great
So
service,
you
so does
just-
Great
Oh, you
Plains.
think
Yeah.
we'd have to look
Yeah.
into that.
Like to
Needs
be
to
more involved.
happen.
Right.
We'd
Just
have
have a
to look
little
into
more.
that
back and forth.
to
Into
the
what?
conservation, if we could actually
Be on it.
be a voting.
I don't know.
On
I
what?
don't- Yeah, I've never seen them to where it's
Mhm.
out of control, like,
As like some of the others.
yeah,
Mhm.
conservation board.
Oh,
So Region 8 is the workforce development.
Third judicial, how many? Well,
There's, well,
They
then
don't-
Wesco.
yeah, those, Craig said
Those
he'd
are-
take.
Craig's into Wesco. Okay, good.
Region, or
And
third,
I do the Elder Bridge.
way to step up.
Third judicial district,
Yeah.
Okay.
I do those two.
Okay,
Third
Okay.
judicial.
don't be shy.
That third judicial, Eric always kind of acts like he enjoys that one, don't you?
It's a good one to go to. There's 24 members there in northwestern Iowa, and we've got a pretty good group there. That's,
So Dave, you're gonna do Region 8 workforce, or do you just want?
Eric has workforce development.
that's the new one. That's what we morphed into that, and that's needs somebody with a little bit of time because they're having a little bit of problem. If you stay with just what you gotta do within the county, you're fine. They're got it's a long story. They've got a big hassle going on down there.
That's-
Huh?
No, I'm just
He's
kidding.
talking. I'm
How many
thinking out
counties
loud.
are in that now? At the one time, we had talked about the whole western.
Yeah, we did, and there's 24 counties. It goes from down the Missouri border.
Yeah.
And it just comes up short of, let's see, Sioux and a couple of those other ones go east. But it's the three, maybe the 8 worst counties in the state of Iowa is down there south.
Yeah,
So,
East, of course, they keep getting flooded out and stuff.
we're gaining on that.
yeah,
Hey, put me on that one.
we'll bring this
one might
back
be-
up next week.
But watch what you're taking, because you're booking yourself
Okay.
into all this stuff, okay? But yeah, that one you can do there, and then you can
Madam Auditor. would it
write
be-
down, we're
Yeah, I was just
Region 12. is
thinking out
the,
loud, but I don't make any
doing the
difference if we have it
administration.
updated as far as today's what we've got filled in for next
Kind
week.
of ties together.
Well,
If
that's what
there's
you
nothing
get.
in there, maybe
You'll
we
get
can just
yourself
leave
loaded up.
the name, no name behind it.
State
Yeah.
stuff, and everything else.
Right.
That way we know for sure that,
On these?
yeah, that there's gaps.
Unless there's anything else
Okay.
really else on there. See,
So IT committee, are you coming off of that?
Well, I said I would if somebody else wanted to, but
Okay.
I'm, just to make sure everybody had something to do, but
Got it.
Jerry's already coming off, so I mean,
Right.
I can stay on and somebody else has still got to join.
it's too-
All right.
I mean, it's
With
a,
that being said, we made a lot of headways on that already. Our auditor and staff will greatly appreciate that being done come January 3rd, so. And we need to hit the ground running. We're gonna move on to supervisor's report, so Jerry, I'll call on you.
okay, well, I didn't have much this week because I've been ill. I guess I did have, Terry was kind enough to forward a couple of notes, one about the dangers of the pipeline, and I can think what the second one's about, but anyway, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And don't forget Denise's retirement party next week. I did receive my
What day is
packet from
that?
Wednesday.
I did receive my actual West Central, so I've seen some information here. She's just talking about a grant, $136,000 grant that they received from the Department of Human Rights. In it, she talks about, she said that at any point in time, the West Central Community Action FADS program could serve 102 families in fiscal year 2022. A total of 182 families received services, with 114 families completed. We're excited from exited from the program during the reporting period, July 1 through June 30, 22. And she just talks about some statistics there. They're getting ready for their year-end audit. Danielle Sigabart, the Head Start Director, presented at a conference down in Dallas, Texas. And she did that as part of her credentialing. And the end of November, the enrollment numbers for Head Start and Early Head Start are improving. Our current enrollment numbers are 239 for Head Start, 55 for Early Head Start, and 70 children on Head Start wait list and 12 children on the EHST wait list. And just outreach programs. She says many of the outreach offices have been busy preparing for holiday programs. Staff did a great job with many community members who adopt families, bringing donations, gifts, money, etc. Mills County office is now back open 5 days a week. And then she says the agents will be closed December 23rd and December 26th for the holiday season. And talks a little bit about Head Start being closed over the holiday season. And the next board meeting will be January 17th. Says Brittany will send out the Zoom invite in January. And she wishes us all a happy Christmas and a happy New Year.
Alright,
Other than that, that's what I have.
that's it.
That is it, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Scoob.
I really don't have anything.
Okay. well,
Just
Just
short.
watching, like I said,
That's
just
short and
watch
sweet.
it. If you have any questions on some of those things, don't be afraid to ask us. I tell you what. There are some of them that are hands-on, a lot of hands-on stuff. There's a lot of stuff that just meets there kind of casually and stuff. So, I mean, that's like the thing up there is don't be afraid to watch your load. You too, you're gonna be chairman, you know, how to load. That's it.
All right, Ty.
I had two major meetings last week. Not a lot of stuff in between that's noteworthy that you probably don't already know about. I mean, we went to a lot of stuff together. CDC, I'll go over that one first. We're in the midst of obviously looking for a new director, and I don't believe we found one yet. We've interviewed, we've had two, well, I have one interview that I was kind of shocked, and I mean, in a good way. It was a really good interview for what I was expecting, and then another one that kind of disappointed, and three others that really disappointed. So I don't know for sure if Indeed and all them are the best places to advertise on,
No.
because you get some, we got somebody that worked at NASA applied first. So I kind of wonder how many of them are bot type things. You know what I mean?
They're just
Where
trying to-
somebody's like a headhunter just sending out
Yep.
things to say they're applying people
Right.
for things.
That's exactly what they do.
I mean,
That's
you
where
know,
we got
just,
Jake from, though, isn't
what's that?
That's how we
That's what-
found Jake.
it? That's how we found Jake.
We
Is
got
it?
lucky.
But I mean, there's some local ones that's how they found us, but I can't discuss a whole lot. I'm just giving you an update that I don't believe we're done looking.
Don't pull.
But we, you know, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, don't pull a Kuma. I try not to. This is tough for me, though. I like to share it. My mom told me to share.
Sharing is caring.
Ignite Dennison, that's still a development and process as far as the downstairs workspace, though Evan's kind of made that a priority in his last few months there. The Giverang is the new card, and the way it sounds, that thing is going extremely well. The big businesses are gobbling them up. They actually have to keep going back and reordering more gift cards.
Giverang,
That's what they call it, Giverang.
Give a ring.
Yeah,
like
Giver,
boomerang.
Givver,
Give a rain.
Oh.
RANG, Giverang. I just work here. They also asked me about Summit Carbon Solutions and what the board is doing, so I try to give them a little bit of an update without going into any detail, because they're wanting to know if they should make an open support, or, I said, well, you can support what you feel this board needs support economically, but I will just tell you that we're working on some things to look after the folks in the dirt of Crawford, and try not to say them too much to them and vice versa. Let's see, annual events. They are actually working on different ways to address more fundraisers, something that Gene had kind of plucked me about when I first started this, is starting to be a little bit more heard a little better about making CDC and its events more profitable for CDC, so that they can start generating money to help themselves make things better. And sounds like Tri-City did a pretty good job. I think
Do you have a number yet?
That's what I was just digging for.
Just asking.
They don't have everything.
Oh, you'll never get that number.
I think you might be right, but they did make a significant profit.
He's learning.
Yeah, I'm gaining. She's been tutored.
I don't know if we've ever officially got an official number.
Yeah,
No,
Official.
I don't know that.
never, ever, ever.
Ever.
Yeah,
Ever.
and maybe that's something that we should bark about, a little bit better number, but they're doing pretty good. And actually, we talked about some different things about next year, and I actually, Iowa Motor Truck Association, I'm trying to get their trailer. They've got a driver trailer where you can go in as a driver simulator. I think kids and adults would really enjoy it. And it kind of educates you on the trucking industry and what's going on. And I'll just go down with one of my trucks and get it if we get authorized for it, and bring it up here, and we'll set it up on the street somewhere. Evan was pretty excited about having something significant like that. Anyway, so working on them kind of things for next year's. I know that they sold more beer than they could. They really did well on sales this year. So good job. Great bands, and the person guiding them around day to day kept the crowds happy. How's that? But they did. I thought Friday night's band was outstanding. They had that place rocking. But anyway, looking through my list, visit cities. I will add this is I've tried to make it personally, I've tried to make it a focus in our hiring, that we're looking for somebody that's got that. I think Evan's got a lot of charisma, but we got to make sure that we have somebody like that can really hit the ground running. Talking with these leaders, as far as like the CEO of Smithfield or Monogram or other potential businesses. I think we need to work harder in that neighborhood personally. I mean, that's as a county looks, and also in developing our other communities, and just reaching out and banging on these councils and mayors, and trying to get them to do more. And I mean, we're obviously going to help CDC. I've been working with Whitaker on that. Him and I'm going to go over and have a meeting with him on getting the League of Cities rocking again. And I mean, hopefully we will. But I think that would help. If you look around Carroll County, I mean, just look at their towns are all, I mean, a lot of times it's the leadership in the towns, but I think you can inspire leadership too. And I don't know that we're getting that done in all cases in our communities. A lot of these people are, getting stuck with jobs more so than selecting to be these people. I just think that, we need to reach out to all of our communities. And anyway, that's some stuff that we've been focusing on. Events coming up, teachers appreciation breakfast is January 3rd. We already kind of went over the Ignite Denison thing. They got some finishing to do downstairs, obviously.
What did you say? Appreciation, teachers appreciation?
Teacher appreciation breakfast on January 3rd, and that's it. I don't have any.
Is that like open to all the teachers within Crawford County, or is it?
Should be.
Let's see, teachers appreciation breakfast. Evan and Mariah will be attending the event at 7:30 a.m. in the cafeteria at the Denison High School. So I assume that, I don't know who's putting it on. If they're attending it.
I'd say school board's putting it
I
on.
think it's the school
Okay.
board thing.
It's not the CDC putting it on.
No.
Okay, all right.
They're attending it. I'm sorry. I should have clarified that right away. I'll go down there upcoming list. Jolly Jackpot Shop, local promotion. like I said, the cards are moving good. CDC office will be closed the 26th in observance of Christmas. I think a lot of our local businesses do that day after
Per their
Christmas.
contract.
Yeah, I think a lot of like our union contracts for even Smithfield's the day after Christmas and stuff, I think. But
It's Christmas, not a Sunday.
Sunday.
Monday off.
Last day. Friday, the 23rd, that's this coming Friday's the last day you can get CDC gift cards for Christmas. Office will also be closed on January 2nd, Teachers Appreciation. Women in Business Impact Organization meeting, January 6th on Friday at the lobby of the Donna Reed Theater at 8 a.m. RLF, yeah, that's coming along good, but
You know, I get a kick out of, they changed that women in business to 8 o'clock because the people that work wanted to come earlier. Those people that don't work, it's like, holy crap, getting out and up. But one people that show up are the retired people now, and we had 5 there last meeting, and that was right before our tour of homes and the snow show, you know, so we really needed volunteers. 5 people were there. So we're really, Mariah sent out a really.
you said the snow show actually made money this
Yeah.
year, so it did good.
Well, we had
That
some
was
big
its first-
donors though,
yeah,
too.
yeah.
That helped.
And that's good though. That means CDC's out doing their job,
Right,
running up
right.
support. Yeah.
Right.
So I really appreciated
The
that.
thing that.
What else
that it
you got?
lacked. Yeah. Oops.
With all that other deal, I want to make sure. I
Okay,
kinda hit
what-
every- Maybe highlights and.
All right, well, and then I had CDC, that's all, everything, or not CDC, Central Iowa Juvenile Detention. Everything's going really good over there as far as it goes, other than their sort of swamp, just like every other detention. I don't think that's getting better. Obviously, the construction on the new wing over there has got slowed up for the same reason, just like the bridges, they're just short out. So they aren't getting things done as fast.
When they get filled up like that, are they paring down with what's there? Let me ask this. Des Moines belongs, doesn't it? Or
Well, no, they don't,
Polk
Polk County don't want, they're not.
They don't,
they're-
end,
no,
but
no.
they put our people there. So if you get full out there, do they send those people back over
Yep,
to
they have to go somewhere
go
else.
find someplace
Yeah,
else?
yeah, because member community is priority.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, there you go. Member communities are priority, or member counties are priority. So I mean, if we have somebody, and we've actually had some, I can pass this around, there's the reports there. And you can look down what each county's got there and year-to-date actual monies, and then they actually go through all this. I'll just hand out the stuff that you guys, I'll sort through this first, because you don't need all the check register and all that. It's just, it's good to look through, and I do look through it, but it's a bunch of minutia for you guys. But I mean, there's a lot of good charts in here and shows you, you know, what, I think they're having a lot of trouble because the kids are actually more, because now they got them juvenile that are the adult waived. Not all of them are worse as far as behavior, but, and they're actually got some of the younger ones that are worse. But so some of the people just say, I'm not putting up with this, and then they lose good people as far as the counselors and staff there. So they're a little short on staff too, but that sounds to me like every juvenile detention is facing that too. And then Central Iowa Detention seems to catch a lot more because they've got more counselors and that type of things available. So Polk County loves to throw a lot at them, and they're getting a lot from Scott County and over there, them over the bigger counties in the east. So I'll go through this.
Reap your reward, reap what you.
Yeah.
you Try to push to be the center for it.
Yeah, you get what, exactly right, Kyle.
Well, I mean, no, just, yeah.
No, I mean,
The
that's
bigger you
just
reach
it.
out, the more problems you're gonna have, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
No good deed goes unpunished.
Yeah.
Casting your net.
Try to do more, get more.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, they got like, you know, here's their list of personnel reports, you know, they're hiring, but they also have a lot of different things, you know, like what do you call that? The financial accounts.
School agent.
Thank you very much. You know, fiscal agents for so many different things. And then they got the urinalysis stuff all in every county of the state.
Yeah, they have a lot of services. They
Yeah,
provide.
They do got a lot of stuff. Anyway, and then in fact, it's up to where the executive director's hours, he's overtime just about all the time anymore. He just got lots going on, trying to help out.
Overtime.
Well, I shouldn't say overtime, but he works more than the number of days that he's scheduled to work. He's actually like, here's 17 days and he worked 20, you know. I mean, so he's
who
out there.
puts that
doing that.
report together? Does he put that report together?
That's his staff, so yeah, in a sense.
Pat that.
But then like the detention report, You guys can look through this. Webster County moved back into the lead over Marshall. We're not anywhere close. But I don't know, this, the rest of it's just stuff you can look through. If you want to ask, you can go ahead, but otherwise, go ahead.
I'm waiting to talk about mental health.
I'm done. Go. I'll just cut her short. Sorry.
I don't know where to start, but I'm gonna talk as fast as I can because it was a big meeting. It was a little bit of a heated meeting. We did not have our report, our request that we would have a data report for the service utilization, which kind of breaks it down because that person had been sick, very disappointing. So we started the meeting with, we have three options of what we're gonna do, knowing that the state's possibly we're gonna be short. The number is more like 925,000. It was 850. So our three options are we lower our block grants. We talked about lowering them between 11 and 12%. We can stop funding the non-core or continue business as usual and go broke. Those are our three options. So I basically, yeah.
Whoa.
That's how we kind of started it. So we really tried to, basically, we talked about trying to think outside the box, how we can, stop sending these large amounts of money and not really feeling like our per capita is being served. And they had 19 or 18 people at the Siouxland Mental. That has kind of come up, but they're under 24-hour observation. Really, the gal from Plains area got up and gave a very impassioned speech about, because we were thinking about maybe doing a pay for service, that we only pay for the people that are there. It would be about $300 a day possibly, rather than just sending this money. But she got up and said they would go broke if we change that, because in order to stay as a core service, you have to have your therapist on duty. You have to have, I wrote it all down here, who else all has to be on duty. And it just won't work. So Sandy Looney from Humboldt, she really, she got right after it, that we just have to change the way that we're doing it, and to be continued, basically. The other thing that I thought was interesting is going forward with our projections from the state. Right now in 2023, the state will be sending 38 cents per capita. And then in 24, 40, and then in 25, 42% per capita. So they are anticipating getting more going forward. I'll pass this around. It's a very colorful chart. And if you really digest it, I sometimes question how all of these numbers pull together. They're only as good as the numbers you're getting, because they fluctuate back and forth. And I'll pass it around it. Block grants, we do 2,423,594. Plains area, we give 1,696,000. Wesco stepping stones, it looks like we budgeted 602,000. So the total in block grants would be about 5,070,000. But we do have the Schessler Hall is closing. We're terminating our services with them, which in a way works out okay. So we're going to transition those people over to the Siouxland Mental. We're giving them around 86,000 per year, so that will kind of strengthen the funds we have. It's a good idea. We're glad that they are, actually. So the Schessler Hall, then they wanted to sell that building. Now I'll remind you that this is all in Sioux City, and us on this part of the county or region, kind of sometimes everything's all about Sioux City, but they wanted to sell that building in for 100,000. And a group, which is actually run by Regina Roth, who's the owner of the BPI products up there, they're going to do a fundraiser. And so Rolling Hills is going to commit some funds, 50,000, to help them start their fundraising and get that building bought. They take care of homeless people, just men on the street. They currently had 10 beds. This is going to allow them to have 26 beds. They have a waiting list of 61 homeless people, and to be able to be involved in the program called Hope Street of Siouxland. It's gonna take extra, they won't, this is a one-time deal. They won't have any other money, but these people that benefit from that, no alcohol, no drugs, if they're caught ever coming home, they have to have a job, they have to donate their time. So we felt it was really a great program to get behind. And most of these people do suffer 96% of them have been deemed with a mental illness, you know. But the reason that they can't get a job is because when you're on the streets, you can't take a shower, you can't shave, you can't look presentable. And so this program really, I think, is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. And so for a small investment, we're getting another 16 homeless people off the streets. So it looks like Paul's ready to go, but it was a good meeting, but we will continue the budget saga down the road. But yeah, lots going on in mental health.
Gene,
Did they,
what's the spend down? Did they give you any indication from the state?
It's the charts right there. I can pass it around. We have to spend down, first page, that, the colorful one.
so, next one.
This
The last
one?
page, yeah.
This is third page.
Well, it's the first page when I had it bent the way that it was supposed to be.
Sorry, let me put it the way you had it.
The spend down by 2025 will be down to 121%. Is that done those
Yep,
numbers?
21%.
Yeah, 21% by 2025.
Gonna go from 5,400,000 to 2,100,000.
Are they, do they mention like hack and bail stuff?
Yeah, they do a little
That's what
bit,
they're
but that's one that we're
We're
gonna,
not core, but we're fighting.
we're
They
fighting
just
for
will
that.
come
Because
in.
it's a productive.
It's
Yeah.
really, and it truly is.
Come on down.
That's the
Yeah,
last
cookies
thing.
over there. I don't see anything here, so I'm thinking the better place to be is.
Maybe I should
Maybe
start
up our
start
game, huh?
taking.
We don't require insulin shots over here.
Oh, goodness. Good morning.
Good morning.
Do you know that next Thursday, the high is supposed to be close to 40 and the low is supposed to be close to 30?
I seen
Really?
that. I seen that.
I'll
So
wait.
we don't want to think about the next few days. We want
Yeah.
to think about next week.
Let's all just go south for.
Can I get enough copies?
We do. Yeah, there's one right here. I'll grab it.
Okay.
Let's
So,
just go south for a few days and
I'm in.
come back and get.
yeah, so the forecast, keeps kind of bouncing around a little bit, but it looks like starting mid to late afternoon tomorrow, up to about 4 inches, but lots of wind, cold.
Lots of what?
Wind, lots of wind and cold
Well,
weather.
wind was a problem yesterday.
Mhm. Yeah.
I was
Check
in
your,
Manchester City,
check
it
your
was
LP
blowing.
tanks,
Oh, yeah.
public
Yeah.
service.
Wind can be your
Thank you.
friend and wind
Yeah.
can be your enemy.
It was my
depending
enemy
on what the
yesterday.
wind is
let me
doing.
tell ya.
So,
Well, one thing about it, you won't have to plow all the roads,
well, it's just, that's why I said wind could be our friend.
but you'll have to plow
Only
some
the
of them a
one
lot.
half.
I was surprised school didn't start late today.
Yeah, but it'll be pretty miserable Thursday morning. So we postponed the Christmas luncheon
Okay.
till next Thursday.
Okay.
And we're just gonna do the luncheon. It's just too hard to move the speakers and things around. I said, let's just do the luncheon. We'll deal with the other stuff later. So yeah, 11:30 to 1, we're just gonna have the guys come out and have a little luncheon, and a little drawing for some gifts and because the weather would be nice. That's why I know what the weather's going to be
There we
next
go.
Thursday. So, yeah, not a whole lot here. The project's about a month from now, we're gonna have our bridge, a couple months, the overlay. Yeah, I am hearing some pricing perhaps going the other way, which is good.
Oh,
So,
good.
yeah.
Fuel coming down, affecting it, or?
Fuel's coming down and just steel prices are dropping. So, hopefully we'll get. good
Well, that's not a bad
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. So I know I talked to one contractor and binder, which is the oil that holds the asphalt mixture together. When we did our project in 2021, it was like $475 a ton. It's gone up as high as $800 to $900 a ton this current year. He thinks it's going to be probably in that $600 to $650 by the time our project got. So not as good as it was in 2021, but not as bad as it could have been. So so I wait to see. But yeah, things are coming down, which is good. Number one, diesel's still expensive though. Pardon?
Concrete's going up 10%.
Yeah, we got
This
those.
week it'll be cheap though,
Yeah,
unless you want a tow bill. Compared to a tow bill, it'll be cheap.
it'll be cheap. Yeah. So that's why, we talked about, number one, and kind of our plan, everything will have.
Well, I have nothing this brutal, this quick.
Yeah, it's cold. And the wind, that makes it even worse yet, but you just don't want to be out there in 20 below zero and a 20-mile-an-hour wind trying to take a whole fuel filter off the truck.
Well, just so you strand somebody, so then you gotta mobilize people to go help the strand person.
It's just it's dangerous.
That's an hour.
So yeah, our guys are, shop work, snow removal, not much being done outside right now. So item 4 there, this is kind of the annual updating of our bridge postings. And so, the nice thing is we took a lot of them off, we got rid of a lot of bridges. So our list gets shorter all the time, which is good.
Awesome.
That's still the bridges that are posted. A lot of these are posted because of the special haul
I was
vehicles.
gonna say it was less than
It
that.
was less than this at one time. Yeah.
State of Iowa and their infinite wisdom. I'd entertain a motion to approve the resolution establishing bridge weight restrictions and posting thereof on bridges on Crawford County's federal aid, farm to market, and local secondary roads.
I'll make that motion on the resolution.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
No.
Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote on the resolution. Jerry was gonna correct me, right? I seen it out of the corner of my eye. Jerry,
Aye.
Jean,
Aye.
Ty,
Aye,
I'll vote aye. And Eric is-
Eric is on the phone.
So he's just 4-0, I guess. huh? 4 in favor, 1.
It still passes. Whatever we call it.
Still one below in case you were wondering.
Cold, but it doesn't feel that cold because
Because
the
the
wind
wind's not blowing.
Yeah, you got sunshine and no wind. I can take this all.
These are comments that are generally made in January, so I'm a little annoyed that we're already doing it.
We'll have a January thaw.
I remember when I was a little kid, December was always cold, it seemed like.
I remember that too. It seemed like we had a lot more snow too. We were always out building snow.
I was not a kid, but I remember it.
So,
So the 29th is our soiree. What time is that?
11:30 to 1.
Okay. And then we got another motion to approve a purchase of a motor grader, huh? Kind of
You got some information? I think we talked
I wish
about-
I had good information. You mean? Yeah, I mean, they're gonna go up.
Yeah.
We know that.
Well, I'd make the motion that we purchase, or motion to approve the purchase of the Cat 150 Joey all-wheel drive motor grader from Ziegler Cat in the amount of $443,382.00 for delivery in fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024.
We're still talking pending budget approval.
Pending budget approval. Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
And moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hopefully we'll turn this corner pretty soon to where we don't have to purchase stuff a year in advance, year and a half in advance.
I certainly hope so. And it's just a whole different world. It really is.
Yeah, but I think if you don't, now this will be locked in, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what I thought you said last week, but the, where are you at in 2 months? I mean, I already got told that Wilson's jacking them up first year again. I'm just about to milk old trailers till the day I die. I'm tired of it.
Well, it's-
170,000 for a new Ford.
Yeah. the same thing with motor graders. We're gonna run them longer.
How many pigs you got on paper that
First
damn
half, run
thing?
them longer.
And that will
So
then
that's what we're gonna
maybe control the market.
Mhm. Yeah, that's why I say things are, high prices are the cure for high prices.
Yeah,
So, it'll change,
I hope so.
always does. So,
any further discussion? Here now, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right.
so yeah, your Christmas luncheon, you're all invited.
Okay.
So just having soup and sandwiches.
Sounds good.
So,
That's a great Christmas. Chili and oyster stew.
yeah,
We used to have this soup cook-off.
we did.
And
They quit it after the west side finally won. The west side versus the east side versus the courthouse staff. The west side finally won because it was always leaning towards the courthouse staff because they're the one that picked the judges. The
Oh,
west side
my.
finally won and they never had it ever since then.
That was because they got their soup at Camp Pride. and bought it up.
That's what I heard. The east side.
Oh, my.
It was effective.
Yeah, yeah.
That was always,
That was fun.
that
I'm
was
going
fun.
to chili cook-off with you.
We might have to do that again. You know, when we eventually build a shop in Manila, that'd be, that's what we would do is we'd go to the new shop and have it there. So that'd be a good time to do that. Yeah, and bring that back and kind of have a soup cook.
Yeah, so it started in Buck Grove, I think.
Yeah, because we just kind of, when we open the shops up, we'd have a Christmas little luncheon there and so everybody could see it. So that's all I have. And I thank all of you for all your support. I know you guys got one board meeting left, but thanks to your willingness to go along with some things sometimes that are kind of out of the ordinary as far as purchases and stuff. We're able to get a lot of good stuff done. So I appreciate that. So,
Thank you.
Keep up the good.
Thank
work.
you.
yeah,
Keep our roads clean.
Yeah,
we're
you
trying.
guys stay safe
Yeah.
out there. This
You know,
weekend.
it's not always easy, every storm, I've told this, has its own little thumbprint. And the decision of to go, not to go. There's a lot of things that kind of enter into that. I had several calls yesterday afternoon, actually 2 yesterday afternoon, one last evening, about slick roads. But I actually went out and drove after I got off work and went down and drove some of them. And yeah, they were slick, but I passed about 8 or 10 vehicles and you drive 40 miles an hour, 45 miles an hour. It was winter driving, but if you go out there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you spread a bunch of mix down with wind and continued
Yeah,
snow and
wet.
precipitation, it can actually make it worse. I know some people, why aren't you doing anything? Well, and now if you're running 24/7, that's a whole different game, whole different ballgame. Okay. But actually last night, some of our pavements froze dry. They were better. We didn't do anything. They were better because we didn't do anything. Had we done something, then you get material sticking and freezing and, because
when it gets-
at -1,
When it gets this cold, the salt don't do any good
it
anyway.
doesn't do a whole lot of good unless you got sunlight.
Yeah.
If you got sunshine, clear skies, it'll help. And
Yeah,
things will
like
clear up
last
today.
week.
But, so I know if you hear people saying, well, they won't, well, not that we don't want to be out there, it's just that our experience suggests that sometimes you have to make decisions that maybe a little bit contrary to what the
If
casual
you're
observer
drifting to
might
go
do.
knock the drifts down by a farmstead or tree lines, that's one thing, but, because you don't want somebody to pop over a hill and bust into a drift.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, the kind of that little, half inch or that, little that gets packed in. And you got continued precipitation. So, our guys do a good job. They're out there monitoring things pretty closely. And so, but
For the people
just
that-
keep that in mind if people call and say, well, why didn't they do something? Well, we're not perfect. We're not perfect by any means, but we're always watching and always know kind of what the conditions are.
I think the people that live on the gravel roads or even the people that drive every day from Susquehanna, they know exactly where it drifts. They know exactly, it's just.
Where the spots are
Yep.
at, so, but, Yeah,
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
you bet.
Thanks, Paul.
And thanks for the pizza that we're gonna have later on.
Oh, yeah.
You're welcome.
Always good. Appreciate that.
Okay.
Who didn't get done? Gene?
Gene, did you want to pick up where you left off? or-
Well, no, it's just the same. It's gonna be this, until we really can get some firm numbers to see where our third and fourth quarter allocations from the state come in. We really, even as far as people that were requesting funds from us, we really don't know where we're gonna be, so we're holding everything off until, because it's the first time that Dawn, is getting, and she's afraid that this is gonna be short from all of her indications. And the questions would be why and how do you know that it's gonna be short based on the performance evaluations? There's 3 words to that, performance-based evaluations. She feels like not everything's, up running exactly to the way that the state, originally put out in their evaluation formula. So she's hoping that she's wrong, but her predictions are that they're gonna be late or get less money and still have to put out the same amount of money. The conversation was how we can change the way that we fund things, since we're being dictated where we get our money. That's our biggest challenge. We cannot keep, as I said, in our 3 options, continue to do business as usual and go broke. I mean, that cannot be an option. So we really have to start looking outside the box on how we finance things, how we fund things. But we really do have our priorities of things that we really do believe are important. So when you look at the 24 budget, as far as these block grants, if we give everybody, she used a number of 11 to 12% less, that would help. But then that's going to put these services at risk of not being able to perform the services that they need to. And so we're really struggling with it, and every county, has the same request. They did put Gene Minor from Carroll on in place of Rich. So he's getting up to speed on, because he's never been on the board before. But they're really, it's a struggle. Pretty much the entire thing was about the budget. 3 hours of just going back and forth on what our options were. So
Can I ask you a question?
you sure can. I hope I know the answer.
So the one facility up there that's got all the high priced people that's seeing no one,
Mhm.
is that at the top of the,
That is when we purchased that, when the state started telling us we needed to spend down our money, and that was for sale. We really made the decision to use some of those funds to buy that, because without that facility, we do not have that. And that provides 4 programs: the mobile crisis, subacute, crisis services. So if we don't have that that we support them, we do not, our funding would go way down. And we don't understand why we can't just pay for the people that are there, but the answer is because you have to keep all of those people on staff. You have to pay them. If you
to do
say,
that?
well, we'll only call you in when we need you, then these people are gonna go look for other jobs, and their therapists and all of the administration that you need to have there for when somebody comes in, you have to have those people on your payroll, or you're not a core service. And who knows who's gonna come in, how long they're gonna stay.
Can we have them plowing snow or something while they're not
Excuse
doing
me.
anything else?
What?
We have them plowing snow or something while they're not doing anything
And
else.
other duties as assigned.
Well,
Yeah.
that
I mean,
is,
We
you
want to
do,
get creative, think outside the box. We're gonna have to find different, if we're gonna keep people on a payroll, they need to be busy.
Dawn said she stopped in one day, just kind of was up there and stopped in, and they were baking cookies, just
Exactly.
baking cookies in the kitchen.
For
Just,
Or take
themselves?
home.
we don't know,
Take home. They ain't begging them for the people that are staying there because there's nobody there.
yeah, so
Well, I'm thinking they could take them to the homeless shelter.
without our data report for services, we were kind of at a little bit of a loss. for exactly where those numbers fell, and I was very disappointed, and I expressed that it's just unfortunate that the one thing that really was gonna help us make some of these decisions, that report, there was none.
No.
Nope,
So that kind of,
here again.
that's all I can say about
This has
that.
been a debacle since the state
It
of
has
Iowa
been.
decided they were gonna
It-
straighten this out.
And we knew that it was,
Same,
we knew
same
that,
thing they're doing right now
Yeah.
with the Western Iowa deal.
well,
I
and
tell you what, it's sickening. And then they're trying to tell us how we're supposed to build it, but they wanted us to build it in the first place.
even with mental health, the state has, it's all just under the DHS. I wrote that down here too someplace.
It's just about enough
Yeah.
to heave a guy off.
Yeah. And then, so there's just gonna be one administrator of all three of the programs that used to be separate, and they'll untie the knots as they go and hope that no services just hope that no services get.
There'll be
Luis
people
is
left.
here. So,
There'll be people left.
yeah, there will be.
behind.
There has
But
been.
to me, it's already happening a lot, because that's why our juvenile detention.
You're
is-
exactly right.
Exactly.
If you talk to the emergency rooms, that's where they're going in the jail, which is exactly what we were working against, where they were going. Well, that's the only place that fell. The 988 number, nobody knows that.
I was
Please
trying to think of
call.
what that number was the other day.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
I just almost
kept
couldn't think of
saying
it either.
811, but no, that's if you
No,
want
it's
to dig a hole.
988. And I just don't think they're doing a good job of rolling that out. They disagree with me, but you didn't know, you don't know, you don't know. So how can it be they're doing a good job if the people that actually are working with it can't really think of it? And so I don't, we just get together and
No, 988.
you might need it.
Put it on speed dial.
Right down.
Oh, I should call it sometime. And
I know, I thought about that.
Well, wouldn't that be a deal? You hear well, numbers
Yeah.
longer.
Please continue to hold your call is very
Please
important.
You're the 39th person in the.
Yeah.
In the
yeah,
queue.
yeah. If
We're
this
the
is an
government. We're here to
emergency,
help.
please hang up
Please
and call
stay
back
on.
later. Do not call 911.
Well, I think your reports continue to just reassure us that when the state of Iowa said they were gonna fix this,
Well-
we knew it was gonna be a total.
Unfixed.
I wish I could report it differently. I wish I could
And
tell you
seem to
that this
think
is
that we
working
had a better
fabulous.
grasp on it when it was just on the county level and.
They'll go back to it eventually.
We knew,
Yeah, and then we have to raise property.
Well, after they've already raised your state giving and they figure that they've wasted all that money figuring it out, they'll still be sending 42% from the state, I'm sure. And then the counties all, I don't know, but it will be 42% in 2025.
well, I'm guessing somebody had to lobby to get this moved to the state level.
Yes,
And that person that lobbying will now become the new super CEO with a big fat pay raise and salary and then. And the person will retire out and their IPers will be banked full and then they'll let it fall apart and go back to the county. Roughly my idea of how it's. gonna play
Boy,
out.
that might be a bing, 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 bing.
Hopefully they're short termers and they don't have to. Anyway, sorry, I
we
digress.
digress.
Strike them from this.
What depressing.
Anything else? That you have for us?
No. That's enough
Real
about-
quick, I had, well, our guest center meeting was canceled due to sickness within the guest center, so they didn't want us coming up there and typical flu breakouts everywhere, so they just canceled it. And I think, oh, they said that in the weather, and so I think they were a little more snowy up north, so. But, and I had a call in regards to apparently a board of supervisors established, we superseded state law and said people don't have to maintain fences between. But I told them we've never done such a thing.
What?
With the state law, we can't change fence law. So. But there's apparently it's going around. I've heard it like 3 4 places now on the street that we were superseded state law. So
Oh.
if you hear any complaints or whatever, say, no, we never did.
Not our,
I don't even remember talking about fences other than where there's been new construction.
I said that's the only thing we have in regards to anything with fence. And this gentleman was saying, we don't, if you don't have livestock on your property, you don't have to maintain a fence because the other guy has livestock. That's not the case. We've never touched that, nor would we touch that. That's not our wheelhouse. That's state law, that's
Township rule.
township rule. So,
That's who does fence dispute.
well, we get thrown under the bus. That was easy. The bus was running and we were there.
That's between two landowners, not between the government, that they got those rules fixed up. That's the problem there,
There's a dispute, they need to talk to their township trustees.
between two landowners,
Mhm.
not when it comes to.
Kyle, is it still right hand around?
Unless
township
changed
decides
other
to
and
go.
recorded within the
Yeah,
county
you can
recorder's
get it
office.
recorded, go either way, if you want,
Yeah, you can record.
if
it
as
to go
long
the
as
other
both
way.
agree and get registered.
Golf cars typically right hand around it.
Right.
The half you take care of.
Yep. Yeah, the unique thing on one of our properties is that the farm place of the one is bordering, it would have been the right hand, but it was all hog yards, and stuff of that nature, so then they switched it. Because a state law and required like a 3-bar fence, so at that time, back in the 50s, the farmer thought he should probably want to keep his hogs in, he should have a little better fence, and the other guy said, well, I'm only putting up 3 bars, that's all I have to do, so they switched it, flip-flopped it, so.
You have to have that recorded, you said,
Yeah,
or it's probably a good idea.
yeah, if it's not recorded, I don't know how it won't, it's, that was done 70 years ago, so now them people that made that rule are no longer around, or they've got dementia, can't remember it ever, so. My bad, I can say that. With that being said, Louise and affiliates, come on down. Yep.
And Lorraine and Monica are here from the commission.
Look at you guys, bringing
I know, and most of you have these.
comfort and joy.
And if you already have what's in there, pass it along to a veteran, but this is basically what these are new bags that we have, and when I have a new veteran that comes in the office or a new veteran in nursing home or assisted living, they get a bag
Very much.
with items.
These are amazing, I have one.
Oh, yeah, you just have to pull the little battery tab out. Those are new. Notice they has a
Holy
flag on it
cow.
this time too.
I love
It's
it.
special.
They're really bright.
Oh, I gave Jared.
Holy cow.
I have one.
Oh,
Oh, I'll give Terry
Don't
one
look
later.
right into these, you'll hurt yourself.
Thank you, guys.
do.
Thank
I was
you.
I do, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and there's a few, there might be a few things in there. Some of my partners in crime from other agencies will bring me giveaways. There's a nice lighted magnifying glass in there from St. Croix Hospice. And
Nice.
so we all support each other and they bring me really good stuff. So yeah, those are nice. Those are from St. Croix. So
Really nice.
anyway,
Anyways,
we wanted to give you an update on how the office has been doing in the last almost 6 months since we went full time. And we've been busy, and a lot of that is due obviously to the PACT Act that was passed. But a lot of it is just because I'm there. So veterans are coming in because they know there's going to be somebody there now. They're not, waiting or anything. They just come in. So for quick statistics, the first box where it says 21 GDX, the VA count fiscal year is October 1st through September 30th. They follow the federal fiscal year. So the GDX report I get yearly, and that tells us all the money that was spent, either sent into Crawford County or spent on behalf of the veteran in Crawford County. So in fiscal year 20,000, it was 5,970,000. We will not get the GDX report for this fiscal year that just ended a few months ago until probably March or April. It takes a while for them to get that out. But what we do get starting last year, every month, I get a report from the Des Moines Federal Building, and it breaks down the monetary funds that are sent into Crawford County veterans. Now, this does not include retroactive amount. So if a veteran was waiting a year for a claim and gets $100,000 retroactive amount, that's not included. This is just the monthly amount that they're awarded. So last year that totaled $3,311,000. By the time we add the retroactive amounts to that and the medical care, because that's not totaled in here, will probably be well over 6 million, I'm thinking.
Wow.
And then like November's just came in yesterday. I had this all printed out, and after I had them all stapled together, Christy at the Des Moines Federal Building got back from vacation and sent out the November amount. So I re-added that in. So every month you can see since July, we've gone up, which I'm very happy about. And our number of people where it says count, that's the amount of veterans receiving those funds. So we have 265 claimants, because it could be a veteran, it could be a widow of a veteran, receiving those $288,000 a month in benefits. And that amount goes up and down because if we lose a veteran, that amount's going to go down, and we can't control who dies or if they move out of county. Now, I try to talk them into not moving out of our county, especially if they're 100% and bringing in $4,000 a month. Let me tell you. I have one now in Dow City that wants to move out of the county, and Jerry, I'm after him to stay. I'm after him to stay because that's a lot of money to lose, but I like them too. But I get it. They want to live where their kids are. So right now we have 42 pension claims or 42 compensation claims pending. I've never had 42 pending claims at one time, but with the PACT Act, they're not putting those new awards through until after January because they had to change software. Des Moines hired 400 new people.
How many?
400 new people in Des Moines, but they're going to also be handling it for 2 other states. They're regionalizing some of it. So they were doing a big hiring blitz in December. So they said we should see those claims coming through in January. It'll probably be February or March. I don't think they're gonna get them as done as quick as they thought. We live in the real world, they don't, but.
So what is the PACT Act?
The PACT Act is where they added in all the new presumptive illnesses to the burn pits.
Oh,
And they also expanded Agent Orange into Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, and a few other places. And that was been a big one for us because our Air Force veterans were predominantly in Thailand,
okay.
and they've been denied all these years.
Wow.
So those can all go through now. So, and I haven't scratched the surface on those at all. So those are the ones that we have filed are pending. And then I have 3 pension claims pending for people in the nursing homes or assisted living. So, but this year, if you look at the bottom box, you can tell we've been busy because last fiscal year altogether doing mental health and VA, I processed 51 claims. As of yesterday, because I had a claim come in at the end of the day, we're already tied in 6 months for claims. So I've already done 51. And so I'm pretty excited about that, you know, the veterans see the value of being here and coming in and all of that. So
It is nice though, you know, I've been there before where they walk in and they're like, well, I don't know if she's here. And then we're doing something else. And so then they have to, so.
You know, and I still tell my veterans, you know, if they come in, you're coming in from out of town, call, because if I have a vacation day or if I'm in a training or if I'm at a nursing home or seeing a homebound veteran, because I do that, you know, I don't want you to come to a closed door, but I do put up a sign and let them know where I am. If I'm at a meeting at the senior center, I had a veteran's wife find me at the senior center one day. She goes, oh, I saw on your door, you were down here. So I just came down here. It was great because she really enjoyed the topic of that meeting. So
That's a good idea. Thank you for letting me know where you're at.
yeah, last week was kind of crazy because of activities at various places. So I just put up a schedule for the whole week. So from this time to this time, I'm at the Reed Place or I'm at Silver Ridge or I'm here and there and trying to do more of that since I'm by myself. The other 2 items I put in here. The first one is a form. I do this every year for our assisted livings and nursing homes. And they give this to prospective residents and their families. So the first one side is for assisted living, the other side is for the nursing home. And it kind of explains what pension benefits are. And then I can tell you 99 to 100% of the time, the veteran or their family call me. And then we get together and we talk about any benefits that are available. So I update this every year with the amount of money and all that good stuff. And the last letter is one that when we do handouts and Luann comes in and stuffs all those, you know, my big shopping bags for our,
Those were nice too,
Yep.
from the fair. Yeah.
yep, this letter goes out to them. And then on the flip side, that tells about our office. And on the flip side, I made a thing a year or so ago that has all the different locations in the courthouse and what they do for veterans specifically.
Perfect.
So,
Very nice.
Yeah, that is
yeah,
very
and
nice.
that is really, really helped a lot because I've had veterans tell me, oh, no, I didn't know we could vote in the auditor's office. I'm like, yeah, well, you know, certain times. Or, you know, the assessor's office, I usually, when we get a new 100% and they don't have to pay tax anymore, I like to, you know, I hand walk them over to that office because that's an exciting day that they can sign up for to get their property tax exemptions. So,
Wowza.
yeah.
This is an awesome tool. Wow.
So that's been really popular and I hand this out during the year a lot, even in my office, this list, because some people, especially if you're new to the county, we did have a new veteran move to Kyron recently and he came in to file a claim and super great guy. He's from California, so he's a normal person in my world. And he's like, you're from California? And I'm like, I'm from San Diego. I was stationed in San Diego. And so of course, he's great. I love him. And he looks like Santa Claus. So it was the perfect time of the year for him to come in. But I gave him this. He thought this was great. He thought this was great because the world here is completely different than California. Completely different. So
It's
we
normal
went
here.
easier to deal with government here, I should say. So that's what's going on with that. Our outreach is going great. This spring, I've been working with Del Ulrich in Ida County, complete opposite end. And we are going to do a big event in Schleswig. We're going to have like the supermarket vendor upstairs. And then the National Disabled American Veterans and American Legion units are coming. And then we can use the basement level and they'll do like VA Benefits 101, PACT Act for Agent Orange and burn pits. And they'll do them at different times. So if you're working, you have more opportunities to come. So we can do both at the same time on 2 levels. And we're going to invite Sac County in as well. And the good thing about that is I'll do my advertising, but the American Legion and DAV, they'll get it out to their members within 100-mile radius of the event. Cool. So that's why we like, you know, how we like to combine with other
What
counties.
are we looking to do on that as far as the Legion? That the state Legion is going to be there, or you're asking all the posts, local posts?
We always want the local posts involved because to me, that's my way of helping with membership. Because, you know, I won't do that from my office, but at my events, yeah, have a table. And, you know, Manila, I think gained 2 or 3 more members when we had their coffee in Manila. But they're going to come and do the benefit briefing. The national service officers are.
Okay.
They're going to do that part of it with us. And then we'll have a coffee in Charter Oak. We're working with Bruce on that. And then Van Wall, we've been in talks about that because we want to do, last year we had so much fun at Van Wall and we want to do bigger and better things this year. Now that they know, they're like, we can't believe that many veterans came. And I'm like, and we threw that together at the last minute because I was still doing mental health up until the end and it was hard to plan it all. Now with some planning, it's going to be great. And then we'll have the fair and then we'll go around and do our coffees again. But by July, I'll have a coffee in all of the counties done for the fiscal year. Kyron is my only one left and Jerry and I have been talking about what he wants to do. We're thinking about doing just a fun day in the park type of thing and use the shelter house.
Oh, that's a nice place.
It's a nice
Yeah.
shelter house.
My favorite thing to do is Manila ended up, we probably had about 350 or more veterans come to Manila that day. It was big. But when we do that and we have all the people, I don't have a chance to talk to all the veterans. My favorite coffee was Dow City. Jerry came, we had maybe 25 or so veterans come. I got to sit and talk with each and every one and I got 6 really good claims out of that one coffee.
Wow.
And that's when, you know, you need to have that personal.
Right.
We need to have the big things so they can get information from, Senator Ernst's office or whoever comes. But I also like having some time with them as well. And they need to get to know us so that they'll come in and file their claims, or if they have an issue with something that we can help them.
When are you doing this last week thing again?
It'll be this spring. We don't have a date yet.
I probably will go there as writers.
Yes, definitely. And we're just waiting for, after Christmas, we're gonna pin down a date because we just kind of wanted to take a little break there. And
Sound
things
good.
what else did I forget? Oh, and we have a new computer system. After 12 years, I have like entered the digital world of online signatures.
Oh, wow.
No more paper.
DocuSign.
I'm fancy.
I'm sure you are.
I think I drove Jake crazy with the
I'm
whole
sure you
process,
did.
and I continue to. But our old system was great. We had it for 12 years, but our new system, it is all digital. And since I have access, I can link in to the federal VA computers. And so when I file my claims now, I turn the screen. The veteran sees the form on the computer. We click it. They sign on the tablet with a pen. It directly I hit a button, it directly uploads everything into the VA system. So I'm not scanning, faxing, emailing anymore. And then my system will give me an alert when the VA has put it in the computer. I can go in and our forms are all there and they're instantly working it rather than taking 3 or 4 days for it to be processed
Wow.
into the system. Super excited.
I don't blame you.
I
Yeah.
know, it was a
Okay.
big, huge change, but
Welcome to the modern world. Here in
modern,
Crawford County.
yeah, and so
You
Jake.
had been in California, would have had it years ago.
Well, no, here's the deal. The company that we are now using, we went from VetRespect to VetPro. VetPro, I've wanted them for years, but they only did California.
Oh, sure.
What can I
They were
say?
your
They're
guinea
from
pigs.
Irvine. They're my people. They speak my language. And they're expanding out. My old system was bought out by Tyler Technologies. Tyler bought them and now they're not supporting it anymore because they were coming out with their own system and they wanted customers. Their system is awful. We did demos with them. I hated it. So VetPro said, we can expand out. And they gave us a 90-day trial period. They're cheaper and they migrated my data for free.
Ooh.
I love it. So Jake has ordered a new computer. It's here. Because I need to have 3 monitors now instead of 2, and my laptop only supports 2. He had a monitor already, so we didn't have to buy that. I bought a new stand, so it'll hold 3. And in the next week or so, he'll get the new computer all set up. And then I'll keep my laptop for when I'm at the nursing homes and stuff like that.
Your desk big enough for all that?
Well, I can't see out the door right now. I'm not
Okay.
sure what it's gonna be like with 3 monitors.
She needs a.
But
Yeah, I'm
If you
thinking
guys-
a bigger office is coming. That's-
No,
okay,
no,
okay.
I am the only person in this courthouse that cannot complain about space, so I will never, I'm good,
Louise, I appreciate everything you've done. And
But-
we
yeah.
are up against a Zoom
Yeah.
meeting coming up.
So
here,
anyway, but if you guys need anything, you know where we are. And just remember how much you appreciate us when I bring
Thank
in my
you too,
budget.
and everybody,
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for
guys.
coming in.
appreciate
Merry
it.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
It's coming.
Next week.
Next week. Okay. RFP for city center. Just take action. Do it.
Here's a list of the registered contractors in the city, for the city of Denison.
Okay.
And, in reevaluating and thinking, you go through here and it has, people from Denison, Salt Lake City, Utah, Missouri Valley, Erling, Danbury, it's quite a long list. Now, I would entertain the thought of sending, because they're appointed as whether they're a general, a plumbing, or a mechanical, sending a letter or an email, because they'll have their emails, telling them, when we're going to have our bidding again. I have no problem sending it to each of the city halls in the counties, just to make sure that if there's someone that's not actually registered in the city of Denison, it could encourage them to get registered in the city of Denison. No problem with that at all. But I think this is a good list to get out, because a lot of people would be looking for that winter job that they could do all inside. the reason, that we didn't get the bid, the one person that did come, it's my understanding that the electrical, there was so much more to it because of the IT department. Is that the way you understood it, Terry? No?
Not necessarily the IT department. In general,
In
the
general.
electrical portion of the RFP was incomplete
Okay.
because you had your auditor do it and she is not an electrician.
She was excellent and we appreciated it. So I guess to
It needs
feed off of
tweaks.
that,
It needs tweaks.
I would
And we have someone
recommend
that will do it.
that we have someone with electrical background
Tweak
tweak
the RFP.
tweak the
Mhm.
RFP
Alright.
for us. And I almost feel like maybe even getting Jake involved in it, because there is a lot of electrical. And I don't, because when they do look at where we're gonna set our IT, they get a little confused on what is gonna be theirs and what's gonna be Jake's RFP. So I think they should work, don't you think? Because he's got a lot of electrical things coming in there too.
I don't know, I think Jake would be like, I need 2 circuits that 30 amp circuits would be,
You think that's the extent of it?
I mean, everything he's gonna do is gonna be
Well, I
plug
guess
stuff in, I would think. And
once
it's gotta be
we-
intrinsically safe or something, I don't know.
entertain somebody helping tweak it.
Well, I
It can
think-
be up to him whether he feels he needs to ask Jake any questions.
There
I
you go.
guess that would
Yeah.
maybe
He
help.
can leverage Jake if he'd like.
Right, and I think we'll leave that open.
He'll
But I
be
guess
taught that.
There's
in
Jake.
order to get,
Hiding in the
there's
shadows.
Jake,
His
he's
ears are
hiding.
burning.
So I don't know, I'll pass this list around and you can kind of look at it. It's a place to start, and I think more interest is better than, not a lot of interest. When I look through
But
that,
we really have no way of knowing that our newspaper publication was ineffective, or nobody just wanted to do the work.
well,
We have no way of knowing that.
I've had people tell me they knew nothing about it. And we had a gentleman here last week that, was apologizing. Had nothing to do with RFP, but they said, well, I don't look at Facebook and I don't get the paper. So that is a little bit of a trend. You can't fault somebody if they are not, but with some people, they belong to a contractor's subscription, and so that's sent out to them automatically. That's how Adam gets his. Some belongs to some going out for bid, this school, that school, or whatever.
Well, we definitely need more than one
We definitely
bid,
do.
but I will caution if we set a precedent of inviting people in next time the county farm comes up for rent, do we send a notice to every farmer that would be interested in renting it?
That's a tough deal.
There was a time here, we had a big argument about, I didn't know about it. If I would have known about it, I would have been in here and bid on it. Well, that's the only thing I'm gonna caution.
I don't know what to say. I'm just trying to offer a way to get more people knowledgeable on it.
I don't discredit that, we just
I'm open to
kind
suggestions
of, yeah,
because it was such a,
this is quite a
Well,
extensive list, but I just, very,
that's important. That's a good point.
and it's always good to think of, the whole picture of doing it. The concern is, if we don't look outside the box, which that's our new word for the day, I guess, how do we make sure that we don't have another bid opening or
Right.
bidding and people, the same thing happens where they just aren't reading the section in the newspaper when that comes. Whether I don't know. I don't have any ideas. That's the only idea I had. Sorry. That was it.
well, I think it's probably important to have our electrical correspondent revise the bid,
Yes,
the
that's
RFP, so we can get it put together
exactly right.
and get that step taken to where we can
Yep.
get it back out there, and then we can think about how we're gonna handle that.
Wasn't
Whatever
Arcadia
works,
on
but I
radio at
just-
all?
I don't think so.
Because
I don't remember, to be honest.
What was that?
I don't
Was there
remember.
anything on the radio about it?
Well, I don't know.
I don't think it, I'm, do we put it in all of the local newspapers that we have our,
Here again,
we did,
whatever we decide, it's fine with me, but
yeah,
we just need to make note of it for future
Right.
references as to. Seems like though, most of the time when we put the county farm up for rent, there's usually
Yeah, that,
We had it once, but that was
Yeah.
once only.
Yeah,
that's right.
well, and I
Otherwise, it
know
was very well
Asked you
attended.
all the way
otherwise.
around.
we would be
Said we were gonna do it.
derelict in our duties if we just called certain people, because
yeah.
that's definitely,
That would be definitely
that's definitely
favoritism.
not good. So haven't done that. But I'm certainly open to trying to figure something out to get that out. So I guess our first thing is to go ahead and tweak our electrical. Is to take action. So I don't know if we need a motion to go ahead and,
I don't think, so. We just get them on it, get
Yep.
it going.
and then we can, all of us kind of ponder how
Yep.
we can think of a better way to get the word out and then have that be, once we get the electrical tweaked and keep it moving. Because I'd like to get it started. I don't.
Oh, yeah.
Things are going.
I appreciate that. We will get that tweaked and then we'll move forward.
All right.
All
And
right,
I'll try to think outside the box on how to
I will
let
too.
people know without showing any favoritism.
Yeah,
Well, that list didn't look like you were showing favoritism, but sending the letters out, Kyle makes a great point. You know what, on the next thing that we don't do something like that, who would come in and have a,
Our defense would be that we had a list of qualified people who showed interest in doing jobs inside the city limits of Denison. And so we had a basis of what
Yeah.
would we use for farmers? What would we use? We have a registered list of people that would be qualified to do the job. And I think it's a great place to start. And we could streamline that to only contractors that live within Crawford County.
so, yeah, let's move
All
on
right,
to
I'm ready.
our
We're-
Zoom appointment with Mr. Tim Whipple.
We're as close to being on time as we've ever been.
Tim, are you on Zoom with us? Hello? There you go.
Can you see me?
Good morning, Tim.
I recognize that face.
Morning. You got the full board here, our attorney staff and with three citizens and two upcoming board members, so,
And Greg
Thank you.
Miller.
and Greg Miller. So sorry, Greg. So, well, I guess the floor is yours, Tim.
Well, I guess I was sent separate information for a closed session. Did we want to do this in closed session?
I think we're starting with just the regular session about that interplay between home rule and the hazardous liquid pipeline.
Okay. We can do it however you want. Let me pull up what you've sent. Okay. So I'm working with a number of counties at this point to just at first, figure out what their goals are. A number of counties are adopting zoning ordinances, and a number of counties are intervening in the Iowa Utilities Board proceedings. And there are, pros and cons of various steps and actions. I don't know if you're considering a zoning ordinance, and so I first want to find out whether you're considering that or not. I've been sent a ag land restoration ordinance for review so far.
So that is the ordinance that we're looking at discussing in closed session. The board had looked at an early draft of a zoning ordinance, but it was very similar to basically the substance of the Shelby and Story County ordinances. So there's concern, of course, about federal litigation, but I think the board and residents in general are looking at, what steps are available, what does home rule allow for?
Yep, and I want to be careful to save some of that discussion for the closed session, since I think in some ways that's definitely a calculation we need to make in terms of the risk of litigation. But I would say this, it's my view that the the state statute on pipelines does not expressly preempt zoning ordinances, which is one of the reasons why other counties are looking at it. The pipeline companies obviously disagree, strongly disagree, and they brought litigation. So the risk of litigation on a zoning ordinance is there, but there may be some on other actions as well. And we can talk about that more in closed session. At the Utilities Board, the process involves, just for background context, in order to construct the project in any of the counties, the pipeline companies have to go to the Utilities Board and get a state permit. And the permit requires a lot of different determinations made by the board through a process called a contested case proceeding. The contested case proceeding is itself like going through a trial. There will be parties intervening, and counties have intervened. When you intervene, you need to intervene through your counsel. Intervening is different than filing a letter of objection or submitting comments. It is asking for party status, and party status affords you certain rights and opportunities that you don't have as a non-party. And that includes offering evidence and testimony of witnesses, cross-examining the witnesses of other parties, making motions, filing briefs, whatever is happening in the proceedings, you have a right to participate in when you're granted party status. And there are some opportunities to achieve some outcomes or results favorable to your county through that proceeding, if those are what your goals are. So the Utilities Board process is much more involved. It will take much more time and more legal time, more time from expert witnesses. It will have higher costs than the development or review of an ordinance, and doesn't come with the risk of state preemption, since the Utilities Board has clear authority to approve siting and routing of pipelines. So some counties have discussed using the Utilities Board process to offer evidence and testimony on compaction of soils and the restoration of agricultural lands by offering evidence and testimony in the Utilities Board proceeding. I haven't yet seen a county trying to develop an ordinance on the restoration of agricultural lands. And I think there are some reasons for that as well that we can talk more about. So the opportunities exist to pursue goals at both the state and the local level, both for zoning and for agricultural lands, depending on what your goals are and how far we think Iowa law would allow us to go in some of those respects. But to engage in the Utilities Board proceedings, it will take a substantial investment of my or another attorney's time, however you decide to do that if you want to intervene. And so Shelby County and Cassuth County right now are working together in sharing costs to develop evidence for the Utilities Board proceeding to support their zoning ordinances. And there may be other evidence and testimony that they can sponsor and offer in support of their request for conditions on the state permit. And that could be separate and apart from whatever ordinances you pursue at the local level. So there is this interplay, and through the Utilities Board proceedings, there are many opportunities to work together with the other parties in the proceeding in terms of not duplicating legal arguments or duplicating testimony. So when the Farm Bureau or the attorneys for the landowners or the Iowa Attorney General's office through the Office of Consumer Advocate, if they want to offer certain evidence and testimony and they're going to sponsor it, then we don't need to do the same thing as counties if another party's doing it. And so there are opportunities to collaborate with others who have, let's say, shared or similar concerns to what counties have. And the Utilities Board proceedings may not be the only thing that counties can do, but I think it's wise to consider, depending on how, what your goals are and what you want to do in terms of protecting landowner rights in your county, it's worth considering participating in the utilities board proceedings, since the determinations the board makes are ultimately so important to the future of these projects and whether or not they go forward, or if they go forward, what route they take, and if they go forward, what they're required to comply with in terms of local road crossing permits, local drainage district permits, local restoration of ag lands, local zoning permits. So all of those things could be pursued and ask the utilities board to require the companies to comply with those things. But you have to intervene and get party status to do that. And other counties have discussed that. The ISAC has discussed funding a study at Iowa State University that would help support some strengthened ag land restoration rules at the utilities board. I believe that study's going forward, but I don't know its current funding status. Maybe you all have had more recent updates than I have on that through ISAC. But that the reasons for that are the opportunities to use the permit process to get additional support for local goals from the state. So that at a high level is the general interplay between local regulations and state.
Hey, Tim, this is Colin, the county attorney. How many counties are you aware of that are participating on both avenues that you just talked about, getting involved with the IUB permitting process and also separately going after a local ordinance?
Yep. Let me go through that. So there's actually three permit proceedings at the IUB, one for Wolf, one for Navigator, one for Summit. So far in the Summit docket, which is advanced a little farther than the Navigator or Wolf dockets, the county attorneys of Wright County and Hardin County have intervened in the utilities board proceedings, but to my knowledge are not developing local zoning ordinances. And they have intervened through the county attorneys rather than working with our firm. And so we are in discussions with them and coordinating and offered, for example, a joint brief between Shelby County and Hardin County, but they have not opted to enter into a joint representation to share any costs at this time. But we do want to avoid duplicating arguments, legal arguments, and evidence and testimony. So we'll certainly keep, coordinating with those counties and working together as much as we can. Shelby County and Cassuth County have opted to enter into a joint representation for the IUB proceedings, and both of those counties are pursuing local zoning ordinances. And our firm is doing that work for both of those counties in the Summit docket. Montgomery County, I'm working with them on a zoning ordinance. I have worked a little bit with Palo Alto County on a couple different local ordinances, including a zoning ordinance. Those two counties are considering it, but are not as far along as Shelby County. On the Navigator side, Cassuth County has Navigator, and so the zoning ordinance there would apply to both pipelines. Cassuth County has also intervened in the IUB proceedings. Butler County wants an ordinance and wants to intervene in Navigator, and Bremer County is developing an ordinance, and we'll take that up later today in their Planning and Zoning Commission and likely approve it and send it back to the supervisors. And they also have intervened in the Navigator proceedings. So those three counties are wanting to share some costs. And as we move forward in Navigator, we will work together with them. I think that covers, Harrison County. Harrison County wants an ordinance, but since a pipeline isn't currently proposed to go through the county, I don't believe they have standing to intervene and haven't discussed intervening that I'm aware of. But we have been retained to work with Harrison County on an ordinance. This morning, I appeared at the county supervisor meetings of Emmett County and of Cassuth County to have further discussions on both of these things. I think they have some determinations to make about what options they want to make moving forward, but I think in some form or fashion, we'll wind up working with Emmett County as well. So I think that covers everyone. It's kind of a long list.
Perfect.
Did anything happen last week at that IUB meeting that was of note to you or surprising to you?
I would say we were there to argue about federal preemption and the scope of federal preemption and the ability of both the state and the county to consider safety in either the state permitting process or the local zoning process. The board wanted to hear arguments because it was considering a request from the Attorney General's office to get emergency management information. Pipeline companies were resisting it. And so we were there to argue about whether that request was preempted by federal law. But I was surprised that the board chair directed a couple questions at me about what evidence and testimony counties would offer in the proceeding about zoning. That was something I didn't expect to have to address in the federal preemption arguments. So it was noteworthy. And I interpreted that question as almost a request of please submit this evidence and testimony so we have it in the record when we make these determinations. I don't know if you were able to watch those proceedings and saw what I'm referring to or not.
Watch and work.
Yeah. So I think they want counties. I mean, you have to remember the board chair is a former city council person, and board member Burns is a former member of the Osage Municipal Utilities, a director of the Osage Municipal Utilities. They're kind of local government people. They have a respect for local control and have issued other rulings, that are fairly deferential to zoning and to supervisors and to city councils at times. So they want to, I think, be respectful of the state and local processes that we have in place. So I wasn't maybe shocked that they asked that question, but I did note it. But I think that's a very good question. I'd love to just answer your questions if you have them. I want to make sure that whatever I'm saying is addressing the concerns that you have or the information that you want. So.
Anything else before we would maybe go into the closed session part, because that'll probably spur more thought processes. Okay, Tim, we're gonna wrap up our meeting here and then we'll go into closed session and within real shortly, okay?
Okay.
So we can go and
Hop over to the other line then, I think.
okay, yep. With that being said, we'll come to the citizens input. Greg?
I got one thing for Eric, and I was gonna show you what we've got done with the towers. Then I stopped at the 4 towers, all the pads are done, all the grounding rods and everything are in. Actually, if you go over to Vale, it's part of the towers up, the bottom part is up. And the Dow City site has the tower parts there. They just have to, what they do is they put it together and then they'll bring the crane in and put them all up.
They do what they can with the.
Yeah, they can put up one section and the Vale, that's the Vale site. And it's already got a start on it.
Good
So
to see it, Jerry.
it was good to see that.
Yep.
And like I said, all the grounding rods are in, the concrete's in.
Even with snow on.
Yeah, the top of the picture shows where it is. Yeah, all the REC stuff is in.
Didn't know it was out Charter Oak yesterday. They're actually changing out the transformer box. The one they put there, it's got some issues with it. So
Oops.
they're gonna change it
Now they
out.
got a bill for them. So.
Yeah, we're gonna change it out.
Multiple.
So, perfect.
Did you get a signature?
Thank you, Greg.
Get that, Eric? Thank you very much. Thank you all. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you for the update.
President, Merry Christmas.
And you also.
It's
Thank you.
fine.
Did you get linked into that email? I sent you a link in there that's coming from Mike yet about what got paid.
We'll pay next week. Claims are next week. We didn't get them in time for last week. I can't pay
And I
what I
can't,
don't
well,
have.
I get you. I just didn't know what to
And one thing I was
tell
just
him, and I
as a
said, I thought,
citizen,
I know I've told him on the
Virginia,
phone,
your
make sure you're
solution
accounting.
have, how to
You.
get news
Mhm.
out, because I know a lot of people don't read the paper, they don't listen to KDSM. What about getting these Zoom sessions online? People can go on their own time then, there'd be no excuse why they wouldn't know what was going on, because they'd be able to listen to the Zoom recordings. Harlan does it, Montgomery County, I know a lot of different counties do it because of the pipeline, I've been going out and listening to the different board of supervisors meetings. So it's, I got the IT guy here,
Yep.
so I wonder if that's just something we can think about in the first part of the year going
Sure.
forward.
That's a great idea.
Just think that it would get out to, people can't just leave their jobs.
I know.
I'm lucky, I mean,
Yes.
so I'm able to do it, but a lot of people just can't take off Tuesday morning
They
to
cannot.
come in.
So that's.
So
a great
anyway,
idea.
just a thought.
We'll keep that under advisement, see what we can do. I think it's a great idea, because,
That's something that's always been on my radar.
yeah, you pass through the things you
I've
don't
been
care
wanting to do
about.
it. It's just getting our pieces in play and getting it accomplished. So it's been a long time coming. It's just one of those things that there's always something more pertinent comes up.
I understand, I just think that people, I mean, you're still gonna have people who don't have internet or they don't have whatever, but I think that's a fewer group than.
Yep,
don't
gives
get
you
the
one
paper,
more
don't listen.
option, one more layer.
Yeah.
Well, we have it here, we have it here, we have it here. And one of those, maybe you.
We can get it,
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
And thank you for all you're doing with the pipeline too, I do appreciate that.
We are trying.
Just, I don't tell you guys thank you enough, but.
You are welcome.
That's probably our team.
Yep. Jake,
Just got the new board members for next year. Their emails are set up and accounts. So I'm just waiting on one device to get back to start getting them ready to go for next year.
I'll get it to you after the meeting.
Sounds like, and we agreed to that and just kind of giving everybody a heads up as far as where that stands. The other thing was is that we did the RFP for the server room. We did have 2 people up for the on-site visit yesterday. as
All
far as
right.
For 2 vendors.
Were they
And then,
local?
one of them was, yes.
Okay.
The other one was out of Sioux City.
Okay,
So, and we do have a third one that's has inquired about it. But they are not local either. So, so it looks like we're making some headway on it. Just kind of wanted to bring that to you guys' attention. So we've got things rolling for that. So, and just wanted to see if you had any questions about that RFP or anything along those lines at this time. So, and lastly, I asked a couple weeks ago, or mentioned a couple weeks ago, that I was going to go on vacation next week. I'm still looking at that.
we don't use that button very often.
We gotta get it in for the end of the year.
One more day.
But yeah, I was just looking at, I'll be sending an email out on that for the department heads and for you all as well, so. But, and I am alive, believe it or not, considering last week, so.
Still sound like you had something.
Yeah, just a little bit, but that's all I had, just wanted to bring that to you guys' attention, so.
Thanks, Jake.
Thanks, Jade.
Sorry I had to do that.
no, it was warranted. It was warranted.
Sharing it with you.
Well placed, so,
Merry Christmas.
yep, Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry
I
Christmas.
still move we go
See you,
into closed session.
All right, we got a motion to go into closed
I'll
session.
second.
Seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? All right, we're in closed session. At
Thanks, Dave.
11 o'clock.
Sure. you
Now's
Pretty
when it
close
really
to
is
that
hot.
money.
Cookie.
I don't know where to set the stuff, so give me just